Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the fourth Sunday in Easter Tide, where we'll be focusing on Jesus being the Good Shepherd. This photo caught my eye. It's by a local photographer, Gary Beresford, and shows so beautifully the concept of the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd is the one who leaves the 99 to go and find the one. Jesus himself was the lamb that was slain. Today, as we come to him, our Good Shepherd, let's keep in mind that each one of us is as precious as this little lamb. Whether we're lost or whether we're found, we are precious to him, the Good Shepherd. Because Jesus is the Good Shepherd. And this is exactly what we need to hear at a time like this. Uncertainty seems to be the main feature of this current lockdown. There's so many things we don't know. Nobody knows what's ahead. On May 11th, Victorians will be told whether we will continue in a state of emergency or whether restrictions will be lightened. Nobody knows when we'll be able to meet as a church again. Nobody knows when the op shop will reopen. Nobody knows when the next community meal will happen. And nobody knows when mainly music will restart. Nobody knows when we can re-enter aged care facilities and take communion services again. So, nobody knows. Nobody except Jesus. Jesus who knows the end from the beginning. So somebody does know, and that someone is Jesus. Who better to have as our Good Shepherd, to lead us out and lead us in? I guess if I were a sheep in the Middle East, or anywhere for that matter, that's exactly what life would be like all the time for me, uncertainty. We'd never know what was coming next. Would I be shorn today? Would I be milked? Would I be led to green pastures? Would I be led to still waters? Would all my needs be provided for? The only thing I would know for sure was that if I looked to the shepherd, he would lead me on and he would care for me and have my best interests at heart. Over and over again in the Bible, we are told that Jesus is the Good Shepherd. This passage in John 10 today that we read in our Gospel tells us all about Jesus being the Good Shepherd, but also in the Psalms, Psalm 23, one of our favourites, assures us that the Lord is my shepherd. Jesus tells us in Luke 15 that he would leave the 99 sheep in safety and security to go and find the one lost one. And he passes on this shepherd role to Peter when he says to Peter in John 21, "Feed my lambs, take care of my sheep, and feed my sheep." It's important that we see that Jesus described the practice of shepherds was the practice of being a shepherd in the Middle East. Unlike Australia, where sheep are scattered over vast paddocks and fields and herded in line by trucks or well-trained sheepdogs, the sheep in the Middle East willingly follow their shepherd because they recognise his voice. And that's a voice that leads them to shelter and care and nourishment. As Psalm 23 describes so beautifully, "The Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I need." The sheep pen they were led into at night protected them from wild animals and from severe weather. The shepherd would lay at the opening and act as a gate, not letting harm enter. The shepherd would be watchful that thieves and robbers did not climb over the walls to harm or steal the sheep. The sheep knew the shepherd's voice, and they only needed to look to him, guarding the entrance, to know if it was time to move out during the day and find food and water, or whether to stay put in the sheep pen if he didn't open the gate. Those who heard these words of Jesus didn't quite understand the spiritual significance. They knew what it was to be a shepherd, but he was describing who he would be to them, his people, the shepherd to his sheep. He was saying that he would look after every aspect of our lives. Sometimes we're a bit like the early listeners and we don't get that either. Jesus is the good shepherd who looks after us totally. So Jesus went and spelt it out to the first hearers. He said, I am the gate, the only gate to that sheepfold. You can only be saved through me. You can only be kept safe as you trust in me to protect you, to save you, to hold you. Back in Jesus' day, there were thieves and robbers. In the real sense, but also in the spiritual sense, there were people trying to rob people of Jesus' significance in their lives. There were Pharisees, there were the religious hierarchy. There were the Romans too, and there were the money lovers. They were all out to steal, kill and destroy. And it was only Jesus who had the absolute best interests of the people at heart. He needed people to know that if they looked to him and trusted in him, he would give them life to the full, the best life, the life that they'd been created to live. He would look after them. And it's the same for each one of us. Each one of us is so important to him. As that first photo showed, he leaves the 99 in safety and security to go and find the one who is lost. Each one of us is so precious to him, just like in this beautiful photo. Each one of us is so precious to him. He'll leave others in safety and security to come to us because he loves us so much. The next verses in the Gospel actually expand on just what a good shepherd Jesus is, caring, protecting and defending, laying down his life for his sheep. And that's who Jesus is to us. As we sit in our uncertainty and we wonder what is next. Each day he is ready to lead us and show us life in all its fullness. For the present, the gate is closed. But he continues to care for us and feed us and protect us even though we're in the sheepfold. We can pray, we can sing, we can read, we can phone friends and family. When the time is right, Jesus will open the gate and lead us out. This may have been a time of enforced shelter, but when we walk out from here, I hope we will know Jesus' voice all the clearer and recognise his leading into all that awaits us. I hope we will have learnt to look to him and discern his footsteps, his heartbeat, his beautiful shepherd care, and will be less likely to follow any media or TV or magazines pretending to lead us to the good life. because only Jesus is the Good Shepherd. He has our absolute best interests at heart. He loves us so much. And he will lead us, each one of us, into life in all its fullness. So as we sit in the sheepfold, as we look to our Good Shepherd, now's the time to look to him, look to Jesus, listen to him, and follow him. He loves each one of us so much, and he will lead us, and he will look after us. The Good Shepherd who looks after his sheep. Thank you, Jesus.